What's going on, guys? Matt here for Become Elite, and welcome to another 2-Minute Tuesday. If you're liking the 2-Minute Tuesday series, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and if you really like me, hit the notification bell so you just get notified every time I upload a video. Roll intro. So today's video is going to be on overstretching and how that can negatively impact our performance on the field. I'm all ready to dive straight into this topic, so let's put the time on the screen and let's get started. For the most part, it's been common belief that flexibility is good and tightness is bad. But in reality, the healthiest footballers in the game today have a healthy balance of tightness and flexibility in their muscles, ligaments, and joints. And to really help you guys understand this, I really want to imagine your body's flexibility as a spectrum. On the left, we have overly tight muscle fibers, ligaments, and joints, and on the right, we have overly loose muscle fibers, ligaments, and joints. And as soccer players, we want to be in the middle. We want to have a healthy range. End of the spectrum is not good for athletic performance, but why? How? What's bad about it? Well, let's start with the overly tight end of the spectrum. Running, working out, jumping, and just playing soccer in general has a tightening effect on our muscle fibers. Stretching can reverse this effect. It increases our joints, ligaments, and muscles' range of motion. This is absolutely critical when you're on the field and you have to stretch out to block a shot, or trap a ball, or try to keep a ball in play, or just to take a shot at an awkward angle. It's critical to have that elasticity in your muscles to be able to do that range of motion without tearing anything. Imagine your muscles as a rubber band. And actually, this is exactly how a muscle fiber works. For example, let's look at the bicep. When you stretch out the muscle or elongate it, that's the eccentric movement. That's the lengthening of the band. When you snap it back and tighten up that muscle fiber, that's the concentric movement of the muscle, tightening back. But if your rubber band is too tight and you try to rapidly stretch out the muscle really quickly, and you put it in an awkward position while you're in the game or training or doing whatever, it can rip or tear and cause an injury. In addition, being too tight can actually hinder your speed and performance just as an athlete in general. A very common problem with athletes is their hips, their glutes, and their lower back being too tight. When that stuff gets too tight, it's hard to have the proper running mechanics and the long stride that you need to sprint down the field. So stretching and getting that muscle to reverse its tightening effect is absolutely critical for you as a soccer player. And that's honestly where most coaches or players stop. They think, got it. Don't want to be too tight, stretch, stretch, stretch. Tightness is bad, flexibility is good. However, there's been a lot of research coming out lately that's showing how overstretching or pushing your body's flexibility past what is needed for your sport can have a negative effect on your performance on the field, and maybe even lead to injuries. In fact, in the research study titled Physical Training and Exercise-Related Injuries, Surveillance, Research, and Injury Prevention Military Populations, they found that too much flexibility can actually carry as much risk for injury as too little flexibility. When these muscles, ligaments, and joints become overstretched and too loose, they can actually lose a lot of that stability. That lack of stability can make it hard for the joint to stay where it's needed. This is actually a big problem with gymnasts and gymnastics becoming too loose and their lower backs becoming too loose that they lose that stability in their lower back and they experience a lot of lower back pain either right then or later in life. They lack that tightness and stability that is needed to function properly. Not only in terms of injuries, but you also put your performance completely at risk when you're overstretching and become too flexible. Again, your muscles are a rubber band. Your muscle fibers can stretch out, but the actual power that is exerted is the snapping back of the rubber band or the muscle fiber. Concentric movement is what gives you the power on the field to jump, to explode, to change direction, and to sprint. And the same exact way that being overly tight can prevent the eccentric movement of stretching out in a weird thing, if you become way too flexible and overstretch your muscles, the muscle or the rubber band can't snap back to its previous shape as powerfully because it's lost that tightness. So again, imagining our body as a spectrum of flexibility. We don't want to be on the ends. We don't want to be overly tight. We don't want to be overly loose. We want to be in the middle for optimal performance on the field. And finally, to sum up, stretching every day is probably still a very good idea. Just don't make it your end goal to be as flexible as a ballerina or a gymnast. We are soccer players and we want the appropriate amount of flexibility for soccer. All right, that's it, guys. How'd I do on time?